That's Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's home, about to serve her with a sworn affidavit, swearing under penalty of perjury that she has never married any of her biological siblings. So let's go.
Yikes. Pretty much all you can say to that, huh? That's Laura Loomer, far-right political activist and self-described Islamophobe. Ugh. She's an internet personality who has also contributed to InfoWars, so a bit of a journalist too. Heavy quotation marks around the word journalist there.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and Laura Loomer, a right-wing conspiracy theorist, is making headlines after refusing to concede her election loss. Can't imagine where she got that strategy from.
Her hate speech has gotten her banned from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. She's been banned from PayPal, Venmo, and GoFundMe. She's even been banned from both Uber and Lyft after going on a tweet storm a few years ago complaining that she couldn't find a non-Muslim cab driver. Yeah, it just gets worse and worse.
Loomer ran for office in 2020, losing to a Democrat representative, Lois Frankel, and she recently lost her primary this go-round and refused to face the facts.
Laura here just ran for the Republican nomination for Florida's 11th congressional district against incumbent Daniel Webster, and she lost. But of course, she claims she didn't really lose. She's claiming voter fraud is responsible for her loss. She's saying the system was rigged against her, and she refuses to concede this election. Gee, where have we heard all of that from before?
We are losing our country because of big tech election interference. And I am pleading with the Republican Party to please start taking this issue seriously. Please. Because the American people deserve representation. And that's why I ran for Congress in 2020. It's why I ran for Congress in 2022. And it's why I'm going to keep fighting for all of you.
Her platform included vocal Islamophobia, white nationalism, and being a contributor for InfoWars. And you won't be surprised to hear this, but Loomer was endorsed by the likes of Marjorie Trainwreck Green, Paul Gosar, Roger Stone, and Mike Flynn.
The crazy thing is she actually got about 44% of the vote there. And back in 2020, when she ran for the Republican nomination for Florida's 21st congressional district, she actually won, but of course she lost in the general election. That still means people are voting for this woman and actively supporting her, and that's really alarming. But is this going to be the future of our elections going forward? Every time some far-right conservative candidate loses, they just claim voter fraud with no proof because that's what Trump did? Expect to see this move a lot in the upcoming midterms.
Loomer was also on board to downplay the COVID train until she got it herself and announced she was in great pain and wished for prayers. And herein lies the pattern. Those identifying as the MAGA crowd are going to keep doing this. They are going to keep trying to push the bounds of our democracy until they tear it limb from limb. They will pile on with their bigotry and vomit up lie after lie on how they are the ones that are discriminated against and cry wolf over and over. This pattern becomes a bigger part of what we are to expect and normalize from the MAGA GOP and those in more establishment Republican roles. The problem is that none of this is normal or okay. Why do we find ourselves at a time where we have to argue for every sane point that's ever been made? Why is disinformation celebrated so vehemently until someone has a run-in with the facts in their personal life? Loomer had COVID. She got sick and she still went on to downplay the virus because she was lucky enough to have survived it. Over 1 million Americans died from COVID and are still dying. Over 90 million Americans caught it. And those that were lucky enough to survive it know that it is no joke. At what point do we as a society step back and say enough is enough? We've already suffered at the hands of Donald Trump and his attempted coup. And we know that if Republicans regain power, they will never stand up to him or hold him accountable. These are real, tangible consequences that we will have to reckon with if we do not condemn the MAGA movement. If charges are not brought against Trump and he runs again in 2024, there will be no outcome that is good for us as a country. If he lost, it would not matter. The same lie would be touted and reran on Fox News and OAN and every fringe right show that exists out there. And just so we're clear, our foreign enemies would love to see another Trump presidency. They are being absolutely showered with love from the MAGA GOP right now. If we cannot collectively decide that this is not who we are and not what we want our future to look like, then we have to come to terms with the worst truth of all, that we let it happen. As average people, there is little that we can do from a legislative standpoint. But as constituents and the people that pay lawmakers' bills, we have a say. And it starts on November the 8th. And that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.